Hello! In today's video, I want to share the 4 key ways that you can continue to grow in your business, even if you are fully booked with clients or you're up to your eyeballs in capacity or a mixture of both. So this video has been inspired by one of my clients who was recently going through this exact same challenge. She's doing so well in her business that actually her biggest problem is how can she continue to grow and bring in more income when she simply doesn't have any more hours that she can physically give to the day-to-day running of it. So as I said, great problem to have. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Holly McHugh and I'm a career and business success coach. I work with my clients to help them rewrite the rules for their success, whatever that means to them, by creating a multi-passionate career or business on their terms, by boldly asking for what it is they want in their life and their work. So with this particular client, we looked at 4 different strategies, and that's what I want to share in this video in the hope that this can support you as well. Now, what I don't want you to do is what I originally did when I got booked out in my business and I was at capacity, and I have a 6-figure business that has only ever been part-time. So I've always had a very lean amount of resource that I could dedicate. And what I did when I first got fully booked, which is obviously a great thing, was basically just overload myself. And that's absolutely not the strategy that I'm going to recommend today, because that is a surefire way to get burnt out. And unfortunately, I see so many entrepreneurs, especially when we're starting out in our businesses, and it feels like we've got a million things that we have to do all the time, end up really getting stressed and overwhelmed and exhausted, and ironically swapping the 35 or 40-hour week for an 80-hour week. Even though the key reasons for starting the business had actually been to have more free time, more flexibility, and more time and space for themselves and their families. So there's definitely a better way of doing it. And the strategies that I've put in place, which I now share with my clients, have enabled me to actually double my income year on year since I started my business 3 years ago. So if you find yourself in this situation where you just simply have not got any more hours to give, and maybe the current workload or capacity is already too much of a stretch, then some of the things that you can do are as follows. Firstly, I would always encourage you to consider, is it time to actually raise your prices? A lot of the women that I work with really struggle to actually charge their worth. And so what they're doing is they are bending over backwards for clients and giving a huge amount of time and effort and hours for actually very little in return. And that's booking up their time and capacity very, very quickly and easily, but they're not really seeing that income and revenue growth coming through. So if you are in demand, then this might be a great opportunity to consider, am I actually charging what I should be charging? Is there an opportunity to raise my prices? And hence I can work smarter, not harder. And actually what you can then do is work with less people for the same amount or even more income. So that will obviously be on a case-by-case basis for you to look at what programs, products, or services it is that you offer. And are you really charging something that feels good for you? And you're not, hopefully, in that situation where you're resenting your clients because of the amount of work you're putting in compared to the return. So that's definitely one key strategy that I would recommend. Another strategy is, if you are absolutely at your limit, is it time to start hiring some team members? Now that can be in a really flexible, it can be done in a really flexible way. So that doesn't necessarily mean suddenly getting a whole full-time team or having people on your payroll. It could simply mean getting some help with online support, such as having a virtual assistant, some freelancers to take away some of the admin or tech side of your business, or even the graphic design and branding. If you find you're spending hours and hours on things like that, then actually it's obviously taking up time that could be spent on client services or income generation activities. So really do a little bit of an audit for yourself as to where are you spending big chunks of your time, and is there anyone else that can actually take that off your hands? Because ideally, as the CEO of your business, as the one running the show, you want to be spending your time on the things that only you can do. You don't want to be spending your time on time-wasting or time-sucking activities that actually could easily be outsourced to someone else. So I personally have two virtual assistants that support me in my business. One is very much on hand for my graphic design, for my branding, for setting up sales pages, for doing all the technical back-end things, for updating my website, all the things that honestly don't come naturally to me because I'm a bit of a technophobe, but also just take hours and hours, where she can do it a lot quicker and have a better result. And then I have another virtual assistant who supports me with a lot of my content management, my content marketing, all of my social media, scheduling, because again, that was something that was taking hours of my time. I love creating content, but I don't want to have to put it all together and find the images and schedule it in and remember to be consistent. So she takes all of that off my hands and makes it really easy. And it means that I can be consistent and visible online and in my marketing without me doing a lot of work behind the scenes as I used to. So outsourcing, who can support you in your business? This might be a bookkeeper, it might be a VA, it might be someone to handle sales calls for you. There's obviously a huge amount of different options depending on where you feel you're spending a lot of time and not getting a lot back for it. Another great option is to have a wait list. It's a fantastic thing to be in demand, and you can definitely still be enrolling people and having them pay deposits so that you're really securing your pipeline in advance. So whether that's through an extended payment plan that you offer as an incentive to bring people on board earlier, or to just say, you know, my next opening is going to be in this month, and I've just got a few slots available because people are booking up already. It can be a really great call to action. It can really incentivize around that scarcity and that sense of urgency for people to commit to you and your programs if they know that actually you are booked up months in advance. It really does position you as someone who clearly is great at what they do and has a long list of people who can't wait to work with them. So how can you implement some waitlist strategies into your business? This can be done by having some questionnaires that people can fill in online if they're interested. You can still be doing connection calls, discovery calls, whatever you like to call them, where you are already identifying if people are a fit for your programs, even though you can't enroll them straight away. And then what you can do as well is really set them up for success by giving them access to some other tools or techniques or self-study programs that they can be working through in the lead up to waiting to work with you one-on-one if you're in a service-based industry. So that can be another really fabulous thing to do. Helps them spread the cost. As I said, boosts your pipeline months in advance, which is a fantastic thing for a small business, and ensures that you're not having to turn people away. So really just think about how can you incentivize them to want to book up if they can't start immediately, and ensure they're still getting access to support in the meantime. And then the final way that's really worked for me, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done, is to create a group program where I might give a couple of hours of time per week in calls for my group mastermind, but I'm able to reach a whole group of people instead of one-on-one. So when I first started my business, I was really only doing one-on-one services. And obviously there's always going to be a limit to how many people you can work with at any point in time. The group mastermind that I kicked off the first time last year, which I'm now rerunning for the second round already this year in 2018, has literally been the most rewarding experience ever. It's something that I had put off doing because I hadn't had capacity previously. And last year it was something I prioritized. It was really a way I saw to scale and streamline in my business, but also be able to support a wider group of women, which was ultimately what it was all about. And it's been so incredible to have a community that have bonded with each other, been able to support each other, bounce off each other, and really benefit from that shared inspiration, connection, and accountability. I show up on the calls, I give a huge amount of value, they get one-on-one coaching within those calls, but everyone also benefits from hearing each other's questions and my feedback. So it's a far richer experience overall. And of course, they can connect with each other too. So that has really helped to free up my time, but still be able to serve in a bigger, more impactful way. And that's actually inspired the name of my mastermind, which is Influence with Impact. And that's a 6-month program that I run to support women in business. So that has been an absolute game changer for me on multiple levels. As I said, hugely rewarding, but it's really helped to free up my time and capacity and channel and focus it in a really meaningful way. So think about in your business where you might be able to shift from a lot of client-facing time or one-on-one projects to how you might scale and streamline. That might be in a live group program or mastermind like mine. It might also be in some self-study products or passive income strategies that you could implement as well. So spending a little bit of time upfront creating products that you can sell online over and over and over again with an automated process can also be really transformational, because you're still going to be bringing in income consistently, but it's not you having to deliver it. So where might you be able to repurpose a lot of the content that you share in your one-on-one programs and actually reformulate that in a different way, in a different package, and also at a different price point. So you're going to be able to attract people who perhaps aren't yet ready to commit to a more personalized experience with you or a one-on-one program, but could still have a great taster of what you're all about and get results in the meantime by working through perhaps a self-study option instead. And that can, of course, include things like videos and audios and workbooks and whatever other tools you feel they're going to need to get the results that they desire. So there are a number of different strategies for how you might really think cleverly and smartly about structuring your business so that you can have multiple income streams and you can obviously scale, streamline, and leverage your time more effectively so you're not going to burn out, and free up the time that you want for the things that matter most in your life that your business is able to support you with. So I really hope that's helped. I would love to hear what your comments and feedback are and which strategies you feel resonate the most in terms of an action step that you can take to implement moving forwards. And if you want to connect for more tips, hints, and inspiration, then you can join my free Facebook group, Empowered Career Women Connect and Inspire. See you later.